It is what it is, Saturday night drive.
So everybody, brother,
What a week. What a week.
no, let's just be authentic. Jana and I, we already started, and then I was maybe a little bit too picky on the introduction, but we already had a very nice topic going on.
Yeah. I was telling you guys about my projects right now because Tim already mentioned about me being active on some mechanical stuff.
Yeah, he really, so for everybody who knows Jana, knows that he is very eager on detailing stuff and working on mechanical stuff, as I do, but recently you're quite into it.
Yes,
You're
but
in the zone.
it's generally everything I can refurbish, like upcycling, or generally not throwing away but giving it a second life.
Yeah.
I love the meaning behind it, but I also love to do it, like taking something that is not working properly and making good again. So yeah, I have actually the last weeks worked on the car of my brother, the scooter of my brother, like the one with an engine, not the electro scooter. And also I bought my dad a new scooter and will also work on that.
Not the musician, but a real
Yeah.
scooter. Hyper.
And it's just like basic stuff. Like, for example, the scooter of my father, it has a rusty exhaust, but it's not that wild that it's actually the rust hasn't been through the metal completely.
Nothing structural.
Yeah, nothing structural. So I will probably just sand it down, give it a fresh thermal paint so it actually endures also new rust, or let's say it prevents new rust building, but it also endures like the heat from the exhaust and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So just making stuff a little bit more shiny and good again and working smoothly. Yeah, that's basically what I love to do right now.
When I think about scooters, I remember the one of my best friends during school, Julian. If you're listening, shout out to you. He had a scooter.
Shout out to King Julian.
King Julian, yes. He had like a. In Germany, you can just go into the construction markets and buy like a scooter, and he had like this.
All right, yeah.
This very like.
Worst decision ever.
Cheap but functional scooter, 2 horsepowers, I think, or 1.5 horsepowers. It was called Baozian. It was a Chinese scooter.
Yeah.
And it was like his mean of transport for the whole high school. And it was great. It was great because it gave him some sort of freedom. And he mostly took a friend of his also because they lived in the same area to school. And on the way to school, it hasn't been a problem at all because it went downhill. But when they drove back home, they had to drive uphill. And they really had to use the momentum. And every time they had to stop on a traffic light, the friend had to hop off and give the scooter a push that they just keep on rolling.
Really?
Yeah, man. And I can remember one time I was also sitting on the back and he just gave me a ski helmet. Like I had like the ski helmet. It was in the middle of the winter and we were driving downhill. And I just shat my pants. I was so scared because, this thing, it didn't feel very safe. But yeah, Julian, you were an amazing driver back then. Shout out to you again. But all of a sudden, it misfired so badly, I thought the whole engine blew up.
Blew up, yeah.
Oh my God, it was so loud. I was just shaking and I screamed, "What the fuck is going on, Julian?" And he said, "It's normal. Shut up." Oh my God, but these things are hilarious. They're so fun to drive. Oh yeah, that was my scooter story. And sticking to the construction stuff, you can also see that we have some big packages in the back, but that's not part of it.
This is also a project.
It's a big project.
Yeah, it's a really big project. So while working on this stuff, also in the meantime, my parents are renovating a new house. So I'm doing a lot of renovation work at home, right now every weekend. So yeah, but generally, like, if you guys are interested in seeing some processes about restoring some stuff or building up something or repairing something, generally, like, if this is in your interest, let us know. Maybe we can share some insights or some images about how things are going.
Absolutely. I think we will do so anyway.
Yeah.
Because we both are quite deep into technical stuff and like to work on things.
Yes.
Just last year, I, these. Oh my God, what is going on with you?
Yeah,
People can't drive in Nuremberg.
yeah.
It's just plain facts. My daughter, she has like this scooter, this kick scooter, and it was an older one. It hasn't been brand new.
Yes.
And I decided to also just go ahead and recoat it, give it some new tires and new grips,
Yes.
and handles and stuff, and it was great because also the process, like, it's very personalized. I asked her, what kind of colors do you want, and it was a great experience seeing her choose like the colors of her preferences and also the grip tape, ordering the stuff, and then also when it came to the actual work, including her into the process of reworking it. It's just great.
Yeah, I assume it was also great for her.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, even with restoration projects, you don't usually have like the aim that it is like factory built afterwards. You know?
No.
It's just the individual aspect. You did something like for your own. I also like restored some bikes and painted in my own colors and stuff like that. And it was not as brand new as it would come out of a factory, but I still loved them.
Yeah.
Because it was, yeah.
I mean, the last time we talked about machines and how how these companies like Ferrari or Lamborghini or etc. they manage to infuse mechanical objects with emotions.
Yes.
And I think this is also part of the heritage, I would say. If you manage to give a piece of metal, wood, furniture, whatever, also connected to a memory.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I think that's where you also link the emotion to an object.
You put emotion into the object when you actually combine it with some kind of experience or memory. Yeah, I totally agree.
And that's also the part when you start or when you like to use it more often. And
That's why I always say,
the way you use it completely changes.
But generally speaking, I was not always that gifted about being mechanical or... You know, there is no mechanic in my family. It's not like I've learned it from anyone in my like family or relatives.
No.
It was just at some point in my life, I think it was during my youth, like 14, 15, I just got this interest in just working with stuff with my hands and building stuff. It was also like, how do you call it in English? In German, it's basteln. Just... Yeah, it's a specific word, you know. I don't even know the translation. It went from like drawing, painting to working with wood, working with metal.
Yeah, it's
doing prototyping basically. Yeah, working with wax molds, working with mechanical stuff. So it was just working on stuff.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And people always ask me after a while, you're so gifted, you can do almost everything. You know, like just how things function or generally, you know.
Yeah.
And I always thought you just have to start somewhere, because my first drafts when I did something, it was so ugly, but at that moment it just felt good for me.
Yeah.
You know, it was not even about judging if it's going to be perfect or if it's going to be good. It was just me doing stuff, you know, trying it out. The first coats of spray paint I sprayed on were so bubbly and like flaky.
Yeah.
You know, if I were to judge myself at that moment and say, no, you're never gonna make it and it just looks like shit, I probably would have stopped and I would say, why are other people so gifted? You know?
Yeah,
it's just like, I was like, okay, that was the first try. Now I gained some experience. I know what I should do better, like maybe sand it down a little bit better, maybe use some primer, you know, primer coating. And after a while, it just got better.
Yeah, but I think that's so. Not to be mean to you, but I think you're still not a mechanic. Neither am I.
No,
but
I am not.
I think there are way more gifted people out there when it comes to working with their hands. But what it comes down to, in my opinion, is the process of learning and iterating towards a better
Definitely.
process or a better outcome.
Yeah.
And this is something you can really influence, even if you are not that gifted, or even if you don't have like the family background of working on stuff.
Quote of the week is, I think, really suited here, because it's not quote of the week. It was like quote of the year for many years for me. Like from 15, I think, or 16 onwards until I was 25, it was like my screensaver. Hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard enough. And I believe there are talented or gifted people, but I think you can learn anything.
Yeah, absolutely. There are no limits if you put in the hours and the work, and it's just the same in every domain.
Definitely.
You won't be perfect at the start, but you will definitely become better over time if you put in the work.
And people are like, yeah, I mean, sometimes people are just like more suited for stuff like because of like physicalities. I mean, there is no possible way that I could swim better than Michael Phelps. You know, he has broad shoulders, he's tall, he has like the physical preconditions for that. But that doesn't mean I can't become a good swimmer myself, you know?
No, absolutely not. But you can move towards like the best you can become.
Yes,
and
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, me too. With the iteration of the learning process, that's quite important, and I think also something that you have to learn to perceive and to make use of, because it's completely normal to get frustrated if things don't work out in the first place. You do it once, you do it twice, and all of a sudden, at the third or fourth time, it starts working out in your favor.
It is also crucial to actually get frustrated, let's say, because if you would be satisfied with your first iteration, I doubt that you would learn anything to improve it. You know, if you would be just like, yeah, that's fine, that's sufficient enough, I don't know if you would learn anything. There is some level of, not suffering, but to be not like 100% pleased with your outcome, to actually learn, or let's say improve your work. And I think this is also crucial.
Yeah, but that also comes back with like how you perceive it, and feedback is also something you can give yourself. And once you start being too critical and stuff,
no, it's not like
it
downplaying yourself. Yeah, it's not about like beating up yourself.
And you won't succeed out of this. Some people do, of course, but I think in broadly speaking, it doesn't work if you constantly punish yourself for not being perfect. That won't lead to anywhere. But when I remember back during my time in school, I have a very artistic background. My mother has had a dance school for over 30 years. My uncle is a dancer, and that's what I grew up with. But in school, during elementary school, I had this it was called Handwerk.
Yeah. I know. I had that too.
Like working, it was just working, workshop education. And it has been 2 hours in a week, and you had the choice between how do you say woodwork.
I think we
iron,
also had like pottery and stuff.
Oh yeah, woodwork, pottery, also textile manufacturing, printing, also iron casting, etc. There was a variety to choose from, and you also always had to spend 6 months in one topic. And you could change, so it was guaranteed that you had like the constant change. And I remember this has been so valuable for me to just get my hands on stuff and just
try it out.
Try it out and have like the thing in your mind, like create a plan where you want to go and define specific subsets of goals that you have to achieve in order to create the final chain. For example, I made some bracelets for my mother, and therefore I had to cut out the very single links of each bracelet element. Then I had to cast them together. Then I coated them. And it has been such a great process. And in the end, you come out with an object that you have created yourself.
It's about the creation. You know, the creation aspect. You have something tangible that you can look at, that you can feel, that you can touch.
Yeah, she still uses it today, and it's genius. And I think also for me, it has shown that life is neither art. Life doesn't consist out of art and theory solely, but also out of creating things, and that you can, with very minimal means, also create unique stuff. And that's something that still follows me until today. And I'm pretty sure it does the same to you. And it's
Of course.
It's something that you carry with you your whole life. And I mean, for most people, it's like the typical thing that, yeah, I have learned this from my father or stuff. I'm brutally honest. I grew up without a father. I didn't have like this typical father figure that showed me how to do like this typical manly stuff.
Yeah.
My mother did in great parts, but you can learn most of the things yourself.
Yes.
And if you have like the luck to be in such a school that offers these kind of courses, that's a big advantage.
Look, and I also think emotionally it is something different. Like sometimes you just need a teacher or someone who lends you a hand and just shows you stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But in the first approach, I'd really love to try something out for myself, even without people telling me something, because
watch out.
the achievement, let's say, of finding something out yourself,
Yeah.
experiencing it without someone telling you how it works,
Yeah.
is emotionally far more, let's say, rewarding for me, because I get really an emotional high from it. You know, it's
You have like this wow effect.
Yeah,
this-
it's like, let's say you're a kid and you want to use a screwdriver.
Yeah.
If someone tells you use the screwdriver this way, and you try it out and it functions, it's still a wow effect. But if you just try and you make it function yourself without anyone actually showing you, it's so much more, let's say, emotionally, how do you call it? Significant. You know, it's more significant in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. The impact is much greater.
Yeah, the
it's
impact
more
is
impactful.
more. Yeah, it sticks to your mind. Like when I look back about my learnings, the ones I made myself, like the first time observing something
Yeah.
and doing it by experience, it sticks to my mind. You know, I still can remember those days or like those situations crystal clear.
You get branded by these moments, and it's also like a core memory that's being established, and also
Yes.
a proper experience.
Yes.
A proper experience that you did for yourself or experience yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that you should also keep in mind too. And I think also during business or within business, leading people towards conscious decisions of themselves, because most of the time to problems that you articulate to your team, you also already know the answer.
Yeah.
And if you want them to perform in a good way, in a sustainable way in the future, it's much more valuable to tell them or to give them like a recipe how they come to the conclusion that you already have on their own, instead of just telling them what to do. Because
Yes.
if you manage to educate an employee or a team colleague that he or she will come to a logical conclusion or to the solution of a problem by themselves without intervention of somebody external or an so-said expert, you get to much more efficient work streams.
And I highly agree, and I also visualize this within. I try to explain this stuff to a friend of mine, you know, about managing people.
Yeah.
So I break it down to mindset, skill set, tool set.
Yeah.
You know, these are like 3 factors for me at least to get a job done.
Yeah.
Mindset, skill set, tool set. And it's like in this hierarchy, let's say the mindset is the core, the skill set is what is the mantle of it, and the tool set is like the external, the tools you use.
Yeah.
And the first approach should not be trying to change someone's mindset, because that will inevitably fail, in my opinion. It can work out, but most of the time it fails. So what I try to do is to provide the right tool set. If this person can work with these tools, they will. If they cannot, I look at, can I improve their skill set? And if tool set and skill set is improved, there will also definitely most of the times be a slight change in the mindset. But most of the time, the mindset factor is where I actually, as a manager, have my hard time, because it's so hard to shape. But nevertheless, I strongly believe that you can aid people with the right tools, the right situations, the right, let's say, skills, or the first steps to attain a skill, you know?
You can call it mindset, but I think in the end it comes down to it is the hardest part to impact or to influence, but it's also the most rewarding, because if you manage this, you will get rewarded frequently and sustainably. And I think this is something also the great companies like Apple or Tesla and others manage to do on a large scale, because they don't need that much of explanation.
Yes.
They just ensure, and I think also Steve Jobs said it, if you hire A players, they will include other A players into the team. If you hire B players, they will start hiring C players and D players and D players. So if you once manage to get the right mindset into an organization or a team, it will multiply. Same accounts to a worse mindset.
Yes.
But what I wanted to hop onto a topic regarding education, actually, because this really bothered me. I heard it this year that regarding primary schools or elementary schools here in Germany, that or in Bavaria at least, English lessons or English courses won't be that much. How you say?
The emphasis. Or?
No, they won't be promoted, but they rather lend the focus towards religion.
Okay.
And this is something that kind of bothered me, actually, because I think if you look at all the other countries in Europe, like the Scandinavian countries, for instance, they especially, you rarely find people there who can't speak English.
Yes.
Or who aren't able to communicate in English. Here in Germany, we do sometimes have a hard time.
Yes.
It's better than in France, but nevertheless, it's still on a broad scale worse than the Scandinavian countries. And then I thought, why do I have to build up the amount of religion courses instead of maybe reducing these or not cutting them completely out, but guaranteeing that children have English lessons from the first grade onwards. I think that's only something they can benefit from. Myself, I had English from the first grade, and I never missed an hour of it. Learning like the vocabulary in the long run, I really benefited from it. And
yes.
I really don't get why other states in Germany manage to do it, and Bavaria says no, we're traditional. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to cut out religion. I think it's also an important cultural aspect here in Germany. But if you want to educate children or prepare them properly for the future and their professional career, it's necessary, in my opinion, to give them English on their way. In business, in the business world, it's necessary.
I mean, I'm religious myself, you know me, but I still think that generally, like a vague understanding of religion, the different religions in school, is beneficial. It's also helpful for your real life, just to know like what are the different religions and how do people live according to them. But the deep dive religious religion subject, like teaching the religion from A to Z, I think this is a private matter. I really didn't understand from the beginning, from the get-go, why religion is such an important subject in school, to be honest. Because there are far more, like the time could be used for far more important stuff that should prepare a child for the real life, whilst I got taught my religion at home primarily. You know, and I think it's a private matter also.
Yeah, but true. If you look at what really happens in the religion lessons, they mostly sit there and paint or recite stuff, and I mean reciting stuff means like talking after what the teacher says.
Yes.
So it's, in my opinion, not every religion teacher is like this. Many are, or some at least, will be very, also I think, proficient in transferring the values of a religion and also putting it into a nice storyline. But mostly from what I have seen from during my time at school and what happens in schools nowadays is sitting in the class, painting like pictures of Jesus and stuff, and that's it. Same happens in ethics. Same happens in ethics. So I really don't get why this time is being so profoundly pushed into held into existence, rather than preparing children properly for the future. I really don't get it.
Right.
And not even professionally, also privately. If you go to UK, or if you go to a Scandinavian country, or if you go to the US, you only benefit from speaking English.
Yes.
Making friends. I mean, it's never bad to learn an additional language. And of course now,
Most definitely.
now we move into a time where it's like, we will most certainly have automated translators built into our phones during the next 2 years. You can lead conversations out of it, but I think that's not the way how real interaction works. Maybe you will have some in 10 or 15 years VR glasses or AR glasses and AR headphones that you can just talk in your language and it will automatically translate your talk partner. But I can't imagine a world right now where this completely substitutes the original and authentic personal exchange between people.
Probably never will.
Yeah, but nevertheless, this is why I find it more important to learn the language the actual way.
Yes.
And this also includes speaking the language.
Yes. Yeah, because if you learn a language, and this is also maybe something you can relate. All right, shout out to everyone who has a different character in different languages. Me, for example, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Same.
I sound different in German, in Turkish, in English, in Spanish. I always have a different character, like not the complete character, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, sometimes you're
and I think
Janet and sometimes you're Janet.
if you personally like, if you learn a new language by personal interactions, let's say, you know, speaking with people or watching some series, videos, reading books, you inevitably also consume a part of their culture. You also learn about their culture. You don't just learn vocabularies or just the language by itself.
Yes.
You know, and I think if you let's follow up with your thesis that this will be automatically translated.
Yes.
You will maybe can translate words like really efficiently word by word, but you will never be able to express yourself in that culture, or let's say in that cultural frame, by understanding their culture.
Yeah.
I think this will not be super beneficial regarding like intercultural relations. I mean, at some points it will be beneficial to actually be able to just like translate stuff automatically and don't have to learn a whole new language. But I think by learning a new language, you actually gain also access to like the cultural insights and making some bonds, making experiences with people and stuff like that. It's far more than just like learning what does apple mean in Turkish.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know, maybe we're completely wrong and it will turn the other way around and nobody ever has to learn a new language again. Maybe that's the case. Maybe we will all have chips in our brains and then we will be able to communicate across all cultures.
I'm not a 102-year-old blind Russian lady. I don't know the future, brother.
They do. They pretty much do. But today I learned something also very interesting, and that's very dangerous knowledge because it's no real knowledge, it's just chit chat. But the thesis was, the hypothesis was, how do these cultural dialects in English, how do these evolve? Not the mother tongue speakers or the natural English speakers, the original English speakers, but for example, if French people try to speak English, they have like a specific dialect.
Definitely.
Also Turkish people, Germans.
Yeah.
How do these occur? Where do they origin from? And the thesis was, these dialects occur because German people speak English only to, or mostly to, German people when they learn the language, and this is why it's like an echo that you get, like the specific tonality of the German English back towards the ear, and it sounds normal, and that's where it gets tough for you to speak like the actual English accent. Same for Turkish people and French, because mostly you start speaking the language with other people of your natural language or your mother tongue.
I could imagine that. That sounds like a valid theory, to be honest. Because I think also you can also hear out if someone is like, let's say, so proficient in a language that he actually watches series or movies in that language. So it's not about just talking or having a conversation with, like, you're a German and having conversation with other German people who speak English, but you watch English movies, English series and stuff. Yeah. So you can actually hear it out when people talk that are doing more than just speaking to other Germans.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's like you said, when you watch these series, for example, I know when I watch UK series, like English, not American English, but UK series, I always have the feeling my English accent is terrible, because as I hear it constantly, I'm like, fuck, I'm sounding so terrible in English.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. And I think
like the British English or generally English?
No, if I hear British English for a long time, I have the feeling my English sounds terrible. Yeah. And I think it's the exact same reason you mentioned, because when I speak with Germans, it sounds just like, okay, yeah, that's how everyone talks, but if you hear it like in another dialect, or let's say the correct way from someone constantly, you start to hear that your pronunciation maybe is not the best.
Yeah. That's true. Always depends on whom you speak with.
Yeah.
But people.
Yeah. That was
intense. Many topics in a short period of time.
Yes.
Like squeezed in.
From mechanical work to freaking school policies in Bavaria. Thank you, Söder, for everything, brother.
In Germany we call it Presswurst.
Yes. To speaking in dialects and learning new languages.
Yeah, but people, just stay tuned. I think we will just involve you into each and every single bit of our process, and soon you'll see a little bit of us working with our hands.
These nuts.
I don't think so, but let's see where it leads. No, but you will see us work on stuff. You will see maybe me playing some music as well.
Yes.
Maybe there's one special edition with a special guest. So just stay tuned, stay in the loop, and we'll try to keep you involved as much as possible.
Yes, stay tuned.
Because you know what it is.
Tuned.
It fucking is what it is.
It is what it is, mate.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.